Christmas is coming and the Baggy Hi-Fi goose is getting fat. Greetings cats and kittens, welcome once again to Baggy Hi-Fi, this YouTube channel devoted to record collecting and the vinyl community hereabouts in dear old Blighty. I don't that often do tags or threads really in the VC. I noticed that there is the Vinyl Tag 2025 going around in the vinyl community already. Still December. I think I'll wait for that one until the new year begins. But this thread took my fancy, and it's a thread which has been announced by Jack at the channel Vinyl Martini. Very nice fellow. I think he might be Canadian. Celebrating his 3 years in the VC, and quite nicely done. There's no prize because the prize was that he donated something to his local food bank, which good for you, Jack. Anyway, very simple competition, also a very simple thread. No, I think it is a competition, is it? A competition with no prize. 2 simple questions. What caught my fancy is that the title is Show Us or Show Me Your Comps. Very keen on compilations. Really love having compilations, especially not really best ofs I'm talking about, but compilations of various bands or artists, maybe put together in a theme or a genre. So I really do have quite a lot in my collection, so quite keen on showing them. I might have shown some of these before, but hopefully not too many of them. So the first question, apart from showing us your comps, is just a shout out to a worthy VC channel. Now, one that is staggering, really, the collection that Mark over at Take 444 or Take 444 channel has, because he shows he's showing an A to Z of his psychedelic record collection, and what an amazing collection, because he's up to part 36 already, video 36, and he's only up to D in the A to Zs. So I suggest you go over there if you want to see some wonderful, very psychedelic records. Mark at Take 444. So now on to Jack's questions from Vinyl Martini. I'm going to show 10 compilation albums in my collection, and here's the first one. This is a compilation or a collection of contemporary garage and psychedelic bands called The Rebel Kind. Now, when it says contemporary garage and psychedelic bands, they were contemporary when this album came out in the 1980s, because there was a massive surge of bands playing in the garage and psychedelic 60s style. So who's on this one? The Last, Plastic Land, the Slicky Boys, 3 O'Clock, very fine Paisley Underground band. The Miracle Workers, the Nomads, very good. The Fuzztones became quite well known. The Unclaimed, excellent, cheesy organ. United States of Existence, the Long Riders, of course, another Paisley Underground band with a country tinge to them. And the Sick Kids. So this is a really strong 1983 compilation of contemporary garage and psychedelic bands from around the world. Next one, going back to the 50s, Teenage Riot, 50,000, was it 50,000 Delinquents, can't be wrong. So this is a compilation of Teenage Delinquent rock and roll tunes. I think this one came out in the 80s or 90s. Not very well known artist, but real great fun to listen to, because here's some of the titles of these rock and roll tunes about those fellows with chains and batons and flick knives. Ballad of a Juvenile Delinquent, They Want to Fight, Teenage Riot, Gang War, Loud Mufflers, High School Caesar, Shanty Tramp, Juvenile Delinquent, Street Fight, Stealing Hubcaps, those juvenile delinquents. So this is on a, well, no, it doesn't really say, Atomic Passion label, 50s juvenile delinquent music, great comp. Next one is of a single artist, but his many incarnations or different backing orchestras that give you a clue who it is. It's a compilation of Sun Ra and his orchestra, put together by Giles Peterson. Double album, great introduction to the cosmic world of Sun Ra. A lot of these are from the 70s into the 80s. Sun Ra and his intergalactic infinity orchestra, the cosmic rays with Sun Ra and the orchestra, and so on. Excellent compilation put together by a British DJ, Giles Peterson. Good. Some prog now on the famous Charisma label. I think this is probably one of those budget comps. This is Charisma keyboards, so it's a 6-track comp of artists who were on Charisma. Of course, it was a very proggy label. So who's on here? The Nice, Genesis, Robert John Godfrey, Rare Bird, Van der Graaf Generator, and Bo Hansen. Now, Robert John Godfrey, it always intrigued me, his album was called The Fall of Hyperion, very classical, very bombastic music by Robert John Godfrey, who was the keyboard player in the Enid, but I think he made that one solo album. Yeah, and the track on here is Mountains. I don't actually have The Fall of Hyperion, but quite an attractive prospect. If I ever see it knocking about, I certainly would buy a copy of that. So that's famous Charisma label, Charisma Keyboards, collection of proggy tracks from the 70s. Now, I may have shown this one before, but this is a 4-volume collection of UK psychedelic bands that came out in the 80s. The British Psychedelic Trip. It's on the C for Miles label. Again, if you want an introduction to a particular genre like UK psych, this is the one really, unless you want to buy all of the Rubble collection. Yeah, some classics on here. Created by Clive, by The Attack, In Your Tower by The Poets, Muffin Man by The World of Oz, Vacuum Cleaner by Tintern Abbey, Father's Name is Dad by The Fire. Can't go wrong with this. Still get these probably for about £15, £20. I'm missing one of the 4 though, so I'm on the lookout for that. So the British Psychedelic Trip, 1966 and 1969 on C for Miles label, much missed label, C for Miles. Now this is a similar genre, similar music, English freakbeat, but this is on an American label. This is on the Vox label or the Archive International Productions, definitely related to Vox. This is English freakbeat volume 4, 65 to 66, or 64 to 66 I should say. Pretty obscure stuff on here, but great R&B fuzzy tunes on here. Who's on here that you may have heard of? Tony Dangerfield, The Syndicats, Mickey Finn and the Blue Men. Excellent. I have a few of these. Good American comps of UK freakbeat. Now, some more of that kind of thing, but this is more psychedelic. This is on the brilliant Top Sounds label. I put out a few of these kind of limited comps. This is Shapes and Sounds. Orange and Red Beams from the BBC archive. So this comp collects from the BBC radio archives of 60s psychedelic bands, including Kaleidoscope, the Montanas, the Spectrum, Time Box, Tomorrow featuring Keith West. Can't go wrong with this one either. Yeah, very, very nice. Really good, well put together stuff with a lovely booklet there. If you like this music, essential, seek these out on the wonderful Top Sounds label. Next, more trashier, in a trashier vein, I should say. This is a comp called Forbidden City Dog Food. It doesn't really state this very clearly, but I think these tracks are taken from Lux Interior and Poison Ivy's record collection, the famous leaders of the Cramps. And so you know you're going to get some pretty trashy 50s and 60s novelty records on here, but also some rockin' novelty here, you know. Had some great dance craze tunes on here, like The Hump by the Invictors, Do the Pig by Mercedes and the Blue Notes, The Hip by the Sparkles. So, you know, this one you could play at your next party. Forbidden City Dog Food. Sensexual, exciting. It's nice label there. Next, some high psych, I guess you could call it. This is really very psychedelic. This is a compilation called Beyond the Calico Wall on the Vox label. Came out in 1990. And this is not really garage. This is really the real psychedelic stuff. Who was on here? Bohemian Vendetta, the Hooterville Trolley, the Greek Fountains, Pebble Episode, Cosmic Rock Show, Spontaneous Generation, Rasputin and the Mad Monks, super trippy artwork on here. So that's Beyond the Calico Wall, great comp of psychedelic singles, I think, really from the late 60s on the Vox label, as I said. Finally, from 1990 on the Shimmy Disc label, Kramer's label, or recordings made at his Noise New York studio. This is a compilation called What Else Do You Do? A compilation of quiet music. And some of the Shimmy Disc recording artists are on here. Now, I guess the best known would be, but not exactly household names, would be Bongwater, Dean Wareham of Galaxy 500, who actually, I think their first recordings were made at Kramer's Noise New York studio. So these are all, as the title says of this comp, it's a compilation of quiet music, quiet tunes by various left field artists on the Shimmy Disc label. It includes a track by Tuli Cooper. What's he called again? I can't pronounce his name. Kupperberg. There it is, Shimmy Disc from 1990. So that's 10 comps from my collection for this competition for Jack at Vinyl Martini. The deadline for this competition is December the 20th. We're getting very near Christmas now. Hopefully I'm going to do another video of recent vinyl finds before the end of the month. But see you in the next one. Bye for now.